Good morning, everyone, and today we are going to be talking about a very not requested, more of a want for me from me. That's what most of these are current. That's what all three of these are currently. But yeah, we are going to be talking about the glyphs from the Owl House. Hopefully, I don't get sued. Disney, please don't come after me. I am not good. Anyways, is yeah, we were talking about the Owl House, which is, created by Disney. But we are going to be talking about specifically the glyphs from that show, because I think they are really fascinating and can work really well as a D&D class. So, yeah. And I should also mention, thanks to the new rules actually being dropped, I will say right now, I looked over how the rules work in the 2024 version of the rules. This class works in both rules. It just doesn't have the primary ability statistic, which doesn't really do anything, unlike Pathfinder, where instead of me just saying you get a plus to this stat, it is just focus on this stat, which I feel the saving throws already did. Surprised that Ranger doesn't have a saving throw in Dexterity and Wisdom instead of Strength and Dexterity. But I don't know. I should also mention my two races work well with the 2024 rules. Just get rid of the ASIs and it'll be fine. But yeah, that's enough of the boring crap. I should still mention I'm still going to use the OGL for 2014 since that's the one I'm mostly going to be doing. I'll specify in the video title. But yeah, now let's go on to the glyphs from the Owl House. So, the glyphs in the show work off of basically the land, or, well, the corpse of a titan, which are kind of like gods, but can die. And the entire show takes place is in the land of the titan, which is just its corpse. And it's rotting. Great. That's fun. That is real fun. Good thing this is for children, right? Anyways, the original creator of this type of magic were the Titans. And they also basically created magic as a whole. All magic kind of derives from the glyphs, from my understanding of watching the show. So, and we see that the main character learns this from the episode The Intruder, where the main character actually learns a spell from their phone breaking and showing the glyph for like 2 frames. Which is really cool and means, hey, I can do some really fun stuff that no other caster can do. We also see in a later episode that glyphs make up the snow, and ice as general ways. They also make up all the plants and in fire. There are 4 main glyphs in the show, being light, ice, fire, and plant, as it's called, which is fun because I'm not doing all 4. I'm adding more. I'm basically adding 1 for every damage type except radiant, necrotic, and the basic 3 being bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing. Now you can also, in the show, the main character, who is Lewis, I forgot to mention that, but who cares? We're talking about the glyphs themselves, can be used as a combo of sorts by as a different character explains, as sort of like a rule book where you can tell the glyphs what to do by writing them in a certain order and a certain way. We see this with basically how we are replicating spells. More glyphs equals more potential for replicating spells. Wow. Glyphs are fun, aren't they? But yeah, that's basically the glyphs. The glyphs also can transfer magic from one person to another, and we see this in literally the final episode of the show. Oh, everyone is still hating on Disney for that, but well, yes, I would have liked it to be longer and flesh out some more things. It's fine. It's fine. I quite enjoyed it. But yeah, that's the glyphs, really. Now, how do I make this into a class? Well, glyphs are mainly used by the characters who cannot cast magic. So, i.e., the main character, Luz, who's human. And 2 characters who literally lost their magic. And another human named Bellows, who is the main antagonist. He used to do it, at least. I probably should have put a spoiler warning. I'm going to put it in editing. But anyways. Now, what can we do here? Well, this sort of caster definitely would require intelligence and would not have spell slots like a warlock does. So it's not, and it's also not going to be packed magic, which is fun. So what we can do is that we would not have a spell list. We just choose 2 spell lists based off of what the show gives us is for what spells we can even learn. Learn in quotations. It is more of replication. It's fine though. But yeah, now let's move on to what I call the Glyph Wielder. So the Glyph Wielders are very odd in terms of how they cast. They don't cast like any sort of casters. In fact, you can actually make other casters work like the Glyph Wielders, because there is an optional rule in Dungeons & Dragons and where instead of having spell slots, you have spell points. And you accumulate those throughout the game, and you spend an equal to what level spell you're doing to cast the spell, with the exceptions of 1 9th, 8th, 7th, and I believe 6th level spell per day. Pretty cool. So we're doing that in what I call glyph points. Which is inspired by Key mostly, to be completely honest, because my original plan was going to be somewhat like Paladin and Ranger, where they're half casters. But I decided against it and do mostly a full caster. Anyways, you have a D8 for your hit dice with this class, which is pretty good. It's the same as monks and other certain things, but it's not a D10. In fact, D8s are mostly for the martial classes who can't cast spells. That's because you have a limited number of casts, like Warlock, which is why Warlock also has a D8. Your proficiencies are light and medium armor, no heavy armor, but fair enough. It's not like you really need armor with how this class works anyways. And you gain proficiencies in only the simple weapons. You spent most of your time trying to find glyphs to use. So you didn't really train with, say, a sword. You trained with a dagger. You gain no tool proficiency, sadly, because let's be honest, no one really uses those. And also, I was trying to find like a writer's kit, but that doesn't exist. So, optional, you can do calligraphy tools, but doesn't really make too much sense. Anyways, Your saving throws are in Constitution and Intelligence. And I chose these two because Intelligence is going to be your main stat, and the reason why Constitution is first is because that is how D&D is written in terms of the 2014 versions of the rule sets, where it goes in the hierarchy: Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, Intelligence, Wisdom, Charisma. So yeah, that's why that is first. Anyways, and you have two of the following skills in Acrobatics, Animal Handling, Arcana, obviously, Deception, Nature, Persuasion, Sleight of Hand, and Survival. I say pretty good skills, and that's why you only get two. Your stunning gear can either be chainmail or leather armor and any simple weapon, dagger or any simple weapon, explorer's kit or dungeoneer's kit, and 5 gold pieces worth of paper and ink. The paper and ink is honestly there for flavor. I forgot to really write them in, so yeah, you have paper and ink, which is very good for note taking in game and out of game, because if you take notes, you can have your character also take the notes. And you have your standard stuff, and you have your glyph points column. This is the only column in the entire thing, and most of the features I gave you with this class involves the glyph points and giving you more options. Because that's what I love in a class, options. Anyways, we are going to talk about the main class features first, and then we'll talk about the subclasses. I made 2 for this because I feel like if I only made 1, I just would have made a subclass with these. I was also going to make a subclass of Wizard involving this, because I love it when other classes interact with each other, but alas, I did not do it. I was focused on other things, aka school. So, first off, we have the Glyph Points feature. Glyph Points you gain every level, which is why at level 13 and 17th, mostly due to the fact that I am not good at making a class. I don't expect this class to be balanced. It is either underpowered or very overpowered. We'll see. Anyways, the Glyph Points can be used a number of times equal to the Glyph Points table, which is a simple formula of I did 4 times your Glyph Wielder level. And of course, you regain all uses of your Glyph Points at the end of a long rest. No short rest, because again, no one really uses those. But yeah. And you have a small list of glyph spells, which is a different feature, mainly for organization purposes. And you have to spend 1 glyph point in order to use these. And you have access to the following glyphs: Fire, Ice, Acid, Wind, which is Force, Lightning, Thunder, and Light. Light is basically just a dancing light, a singular one that follows you around. It gives bright light for 15 feet, and then dim light for another 10. And it lasts for 8 hours. Pretty good. Thunder is going to be a damaging one. The rest are damaging, and they all do the same amount of damage. They each deal 1d6 plus your intelligence modifier of the type of glyph it is. So, yeah. And you might ask, oh, then why don't I have others? Well, the other reason of choosing what glyphs you get, because you do have a choice equal to your intelligence modifier, and then you gain all of them at level 4. I want you to have options. Fire here is splash damage. It is a midi fireball within a 5-foot radius, and you can upcast these by spending more glyph points, and they all basically deal extra They all deal extra d6 worth of damage. And I will relay what the upcast does if it doesn't only do that. Ice gives the 15-foot range, as this class is mostly a trapper style playstyle. Or you can just put it on an arrow, knock it, fire it, and the glyph goes off when it hits. Pretty fun. Pretty fun. That's actually at level 2. Anyways, wind is a forced strength save or be pushed back 10 feet. Lightning does the same thing, but pulled 10 feet. And both of these just increase the damage and push and pull radius. Is acid forces a constitution saving throw or be poisoned. And thunder is a constitution save or be deafened. And because thunder is basically just sound damage. And yeah, that's it. At level 2, you gain glyphed weapons. Starting at level 2, you can use your bonus action to put your glyphs on a weapon, making them magical for the purposes of overcoming resistances upon the next hit. So this works differently to smite, where instead of dealing just extra damage and being magical, instead you put the glyph on and it will wait until you actually hit something. It will also activate the glyph you use on it, even if it's light, which is funny. You can blind people, I guess. And afterwards, the weapon returns to normal. And then at level 3, you choose your subclass. I love it when in classes do your subclass at level 3. And I know they do that in the new rules too. Because you have time to figure out your character if you start from level 1. Most campaigns start at level 3 anyways. Anyways, also at level 3, you gain access to use cantrips from the Bard or Wizard spell list. And we do this because in the show, there are, I believe, 7 covens. This recording is being taken place without mostly research and notes, because I am an idiot and rushed script. Anyways, in the show there are 7 covens, in which each have a different spell list. They're all mostly wizard except for one, the Bard coven. So that's why Bard's also there. You could do Vicious Mockery via glyph, which I just imagine just writing an insult, passing it to someone else, they read it, takes Vicious Mockery. So stupid. And you could also spend an extra 2 glyph points to use the higher level version, because most cantrips have a level threshold in 2014, or the cantrip upgrade in 2024, basically letting them deal more damage. You can spend 2 glyph points to deal that more damage. If you're level 17 in 2014, you can spend 2 to follow the same formula that has been using, which is mostly just an extra die. Or beam. At levels 4, 8, 12, 16, and 19, you gain an ability score improvement, which is the second most, and is tied with Ranger. You can also gain a feat on this because it's an ASI. Who cares? Anyways, at level 5, you can use the basic glyphs. So the fire, ice, acid, lightning, thunder, wind, and light as a bonus action. And the same rules apply, no matter what. However, you must use a glyph as your main actions, whether it be mimicking a spell with the glyphs or using the basic glyphs or a cantrip. Speaking of faking spells, the next feature, fake spells. You can use 3 glyph points to use a first level spell from the Wizard and Bard spell list. You still need to follow the normal casting rules for these spells. You can upcast and cast spells of a level equal to half your glyph wielder level rounded down. And this will cost an extra glyph point to do. This is basically saying at level 5, when you get this, you can cast second level spells as well, but not third until the next level. This might seem overpowered at first, and it's supposed to be somewhat powerful. Oh, but you also have to remember that regular spellcasters also follow this formula mostly. Some take 3 levels and then 1, and to balance it out. Oh, because at level 17, with most of the full casters, you gain the ability to cast 1 level 9 spell a day. This is just doing that, except you can do it more. You're supposed to be able to do more because you have so many options to use your glyphs. And also at level 6, you gain ever-changing glyphs. You can modify the basic glyphs to do one of the following things. This will cost a glyph point to do. And I specify that later. You can increase the secondary effect, making the splash radius or the effect last longer, or just increasing its range. You can increase the damage dice by 1, so just upcasting the glyph most of the time. However, I specified the damage die, not the number, which means because they're all D6s, you use this to upgrade it to a D8, or to a D10, or D12, or D20. Yeah, it can go to insane levels as long as you provide the glyphs points needed. And you can add a different glyph secondary effect to the normal glyph. Simple as that. However, you can use the same modification 2 times before you can't use that modification anymore on that glyph. Simple as that. Then at level 9, you gain Super Glyph. This is a reference to a different episode where they start actually combining the glyphs, and someone decided, I'm just going to draw all the glyphs into one. Christ. And I decided that would be funny. So, yeah. Anyways, you can spend 7 glyph points. This is a huge undertaking. I say huge, but it's 4 times 9, my guys. That is 36 glyph points. 7 means nothing. And you combine all the glyphs into one spell. Once used, however, this glyph will fill a medium creature space, so 5 by 5, and will keep growing if a spell is used within a 50-foot radius, and it grows one size category larger, dropping any creature inside of it. This lasts for 2 rounds before it becomes too unstable and deals necrotic damage equal to your glyph wielder level worth in D10s. I need to change that to D6s or D8s. So if when this video comes out it's different, that's why. Christ, that's powerful. And only creatures caught in this super glyph will actually take the damage. I think that's the balance. I'm still gonna make it D8s. Jesus Christ. At level 10, this is where most campaigns start to become the characters are stupid fucking powerful. So let's make this even more stupid fucking powerful. You become so good at using your glyphs, you can even copy spell-like abilities you've seen. However, to do this, you must pass a DC 15 intelligence check, and use the number of glyph points equal to half the CR of the creature you're copying. And this is rounded so that it does not cost 0 if you see, say, an imp use invisibility. That's a spell, but you get the point. I should have added that, but I believe most creatures don't get spell-like abilities until CR 5 anyways. So if it's that, I should specify just round it up. More glyph points are needed to copy those things anyways. Oh, it does say round it up. I'm an idiot. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier per long rest. So you can't just keep slinging spell like ability, spell like ability, spell like ability. You can only do it up to 5 times, which is the max intelligence a mortal can get. Glyph weaponry. This is different from glyph weapons, because you can use 4 glyph points to summon a simple weapon of your choice until your next long rest. Alongside the weapon you choose, you can have it. You can use to have the properties of the basic glyphs. So you can make it light up. You can make it deal splash damage. You can make it deal damage. More damage. Yeah, this is basically creating your own magical weapon for 24 hours. However, it can only be wielded by you. If you give it to someone else, it disappears. Fun. Anyways, and that's at level 14. At level 18, you gain Lesser Glyph Mastery. You can choose a cantrip and a first level spell of your choosing, and have them both cost 1 glyph point less than normal. So a cantrip would be 2 glyph points, and a spell would be 2. Yeah. And if you want to replace the cantrip or the spell, spend 8 hours to replace either one or both of them. This is basically the wizard's level 19 ability, and we're doing that here. But it's a little less cost effective. And then glyph regeneration. I know in the new version of the rules at level 19 everyone gains an epic boon. Just replace the ASI with that. Simple as that. But yeah, reaching level 20, whenever you roll initiative and have no glyph points remaining, you regain 8. This is really prioritizing using them all in your battles. Anyways, but where are the subclasses? Where are the level 3, 7, 11, and 15 features? Well, I'm glad you ask. Oh, God. So we have what I'm calling a wielder's edge, which is going to be Edge of Souls, which is inspired by the character Bellows later on in the series. Because we learned that he's been just stealing the souls of what's known as talismans, or basically just familiars. So yeah, Edge of Souls, and that's why I'm using them. And then we have Edge of Titan, which is just Titanless. And it revolves around a form change. So let's go over Edge of Souls. At 3rd level, whenever you reduce a creature to 0 or less hit points, you regain glyph points equal to your proficiency modifier. You can regain glyph points in this way equal to your constitution modifier per long rest. Yeah, this is a warlock feature that I just stole because I think it's really fucking cool. At level 7, you gain spectral movement. Oh yeah, the first one was called ghostly glyphs, by the way. Anyway, spectral movement is at level 7, and you can spend 4 glyph points to become a ghostly version of yourself, gain the incorporeal movement feature, which is something that the ghosts have. You're becoming a ghost of yourself. And you can stay in this state for 30 seconds, which is 5 rounds. Not as long as some other transformations, but again, this is mostly just you use it, you dash into a wall. You use your action to dash through the wall, basically. Ethereal Reach. This is gained at level 11. And basically, you can influence someone's mind. Only influence, not full possession. Yet. And you can spend 4 glyph points to magically influence someone when forcing a wisdom saving throw or be charmed to do said effect. This does not matter if it's harmful or not. And this is why it's better than just using suggestion or command. since those two spells work off of, unless it is obviously harmful. Do some creative stuff. However, if they succeed the saving throw, they are immune to all charmed effects caused by you. Charm person, charm monster, doesn't work anymore. Have fun, and this lasts for 24 hours. And then you have Phantom Possession. At level 15th, you can fully possess someone to do what you want. This costs double the previous one, so 8 glyph points. And the target creature must make a wisdom saving throw or be possessed. And this can follow every order, even if it seems harmful. If the creature succeeds to save, this has a bigger punishment. They are immune to all charmed effects, not just caused by you. So yeah, even if one of your party members say, hey, charm person, doesn't work. So yeah, I think this is really cool because this is more aligned with manipulation of whatever, with death, with just ghosts in general. And I took some inspirations from classic ghost things with this subclass. Also, if you notice, each word is a synonym of ghost. Because we have ghostly, we have spectral, ethereal, and phantom. Anyway, Age of Titans! This is in reference to Titans from the show. Anyways, Titan Spawn is gained at level 3 when you pick this subclass. You can use half your glyph points total. Not currently, but half your glyph point total. So at level 3, you would have 12. This would cost 6. At level 20, this costs 40. It's a commitment for sure, but it's a worthy investment nonetheless. And you transform yourself into a somewhat more bestial form of yourself. And while you're in this state, you can cast cantrips as if you were a normal caster. And not all magic attacks, and all non-magic attacks, so no spells, no cantrips, melee or bows, will now deal an extra 1d6 damage on all attack rolls. Next up is Titan's Blood. And I'll explain the reference soon. It's pretty fucking obvious if you've seen the show. At level 7, while you're in your Titan state, is what I called it, you can give up a number of hit points and glyph points equal to a level of a spell slot you want to regain for a party member. Also, while in this state, all spells now cost 1 glyph point less. You can make a spell, well in the form, costs a first level spell cost 1 glyph point to use. Pretty good. The reference here is in the show, Titan's Blood provides way too much magic. So much so that even outside of the Titan, the main character can use glyphs that she would not be able to use otherwise. This blood also has so much magic that it just can transport people through different fucking dimensions. Anyways, upon reaching level 11th, you gain the feature Primordial Breath. As Titans in the show have a breath weapon, which is only seen in the final episode, Jesus Christ. While in the Titan spawn state, you can give up... Oh wait, that's the wrong one. While in your Titan spawn state, you can use a glyph to breathe the same element as said glyph. The breath weapon enforces a dexterity saving throw, or the creature must take a 66 damage based off of what glyph is used. So it could be fire, radiant with the light glyph, and this is the only way to deal radiant damage with the normal glyphs. And they take half as much on a successful save. Pretty good. And then Primordial Break. Upon reaching level 15, well, in the Titan state, You use a reaction and spend 11 glyph points and 11 hit points. It's with the Titan's Blood feature to avoid the attack by making said attack go through a random elemental plane. Just a random one. I was thinking of either doing the astral plane or a random elemental. And let's go gambling. You can use this feature to transport your foes through the portal if you choose to, basically instantly killing them, but you get no loot, sadly. But yeah, I think this class can be very fun and for everyone here. But yeah, that has been the Glyph Wielder. No lore with the Glyph Wielder. Please give me a fucking break. And my next episode is going to be a Halloween special, where we're going back to Hollow Knight for this one and discovering a subclass based off of the Grim Troop. Anyways, I hope you all have a good day. Oh god, this has been one of my longest videos yet. And I think they're only going to get longer if I include more stuff. Anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic day. And I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.